장윤철 선수도 ASL에서 압도적으로 저우전 성적이 안 좋거든요.
김경호 선수가 장윤철 선수를 잡아내면서요. 굉장히 힘든 상황에 놓여있던 평가를 받고 있는 장윤철 선수인데 최상급 최고의 저그들이 3명이나 있어요. 막아내고 또
선수는 진짜 기가 막힌데요. 장윤철! 와! 장윤철!
이미 말도 안 되는 일이 벌어진 거예요.
와, 이걸!
보아는 장윤철의 대전입니다. 저그는 때려잡고 하이강 진출.
조일장 선수 하면 아무래도 이제 ASL에서 언제나 꾸준한 성적을 내는 저그죠.
프로토스는 최근 5경기 오전 전승이에요. 그냥 열리는데요.
히드라를 못 봤어요. 서세현아. 아빠가 왼쪽에
오!
들어가고.
아니 다들 펴요.
예.
칸에 들어가서
네.
캐논 하나 좀 터졌고
Look at me, I'm number one. Today, my will is unbreakable. Today, my mind is unshakable. Today, my hands are unshakable.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the final day of the round of 8. We're going to be closing this segment of the show out with SnOw versus herO. I've been super excited about this match. I think it's going to be pretty close, probably a pretty long series.
Yeah, I would imagine so. These two are going to be a good match for each other. We both were kind of agreeing last time that herO seems like he's probably favored here, although I would love to see SnOw advance just to keep that golden ratio going into the next round.
Yeah, Protosses are going extinct in this ASL so far. So, as a student of the race, I've got my fingers crossed that SnOw can come through here. But to be honest, every time I watch herO play, he looks so good in this matchup. He seems to have such a strong handle on all the ways that Zerg can be exploitative of some of the issues that Protoss have coming into the matchup early on. He's very good at switching tech. He's very good doing all-ins. He knows how to do that kind of painful turtling play that is, such a headache for Protosses to deal with. Mm-hmm. He's really got a big range here. That being said, I do think SnOw, a solid Protoss player. This guy has got one of the best pushes in the game. So I think if he's going to come out on top and come out victorious, it's going to be off just solid play, macroing, basically ending the game right before we get into a super late game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Like, he has shown some amazing mid and late game lately as far as his macro goes and his execution on some of these pushes. Also some great tactical plays, if you recall, especially that one Odyssey game where he kind of put his units in between and caught everything with Psystorm. Really some great stuff coming out of him lately. So yeah, looking forward to it. Hope he can bring him to the limits.
나의 레벨은 다르다 어나더 레벨 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 14 8강 마지막 경기로 함께하겠습니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 어제 펼쳐졌던 8강 세 번째 경기에서는 유영진 선수가 4강행 티켓을 거머쥐는 데 성공했습니다. 자, 오늘은 유영진 선수의 4강 상대가 결정되는 날입니다. 경기를 앞두고 있는 장윤철 선수 그리고 조일장 선수 만나서 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
자, 먼저 장윤철 선수와 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 그 어느 때보다 현장에 계신 관람객분들의 반응이 뜨겁습니다. 그만큼 오늘 대진이 굉장히 핫한 대진이다라는 걸 또 좀 체감하실 것 같아요. 지금 좀 컨디션은 어떠세요?
컨디션은 좋고요. 열심히 해왔기 때문에 오늘 이겨야 된다고 생각하고 있습니다.
극한의 난이도로 손꼽히던 3저그조에서 16강에서 가장 먼저 8강행 티켓을 거머쥐고 또 하나의 좀 극한의 고비가 좀 장윤철 선수의 앞에 놓인 것 같습니다. 조일장 선수와의 대진이 성사됐을 때는 좀 어떤 마음이셨나요?
솔직히 3명 중에는 최악이긴 했어요. 3명 중에 최악이긴 했는데 이게 세상이 시련을 주는 게 아닌가.
오.
저도 이제 계속 이번 시즌은 좀 극복하는 시즌으로 도전자의 마인드로 계속 할 생각입니다.
극복할 준비가 되어 있다라고 장윤철 선수가 이야기를 하셨는데 반면에 조일장 선수는 사실 16강 승자 인터뷰에서 장윤철 선수가 워낙 경기를 잘하는 모습을 보니까 한번 좀 만나보고 싶다라고 말씀을 하셨거든요. 그대로 또 대진이 성사가 됐는데 좀 마음은 어떠셨나요, 당시에?
일단은 뭐 윤철이랑 하고 싶긴 했는데 잘한다고 생각해가지고 뭐 만족은 하지만 쉽지 않을 거라고 생각하고 있어요.
이 두 선수는 사실 새 시즌 전에 시즌 11에서 만나신 적이 있습니다. 8강에서. 당시에 조일장 선수가 3대1로 승리를 거뒀지만 두 선수의 현재 상황은 그때와는 또 다른 느낌이 들 것 같습니다. 장윤철 선수는 이제 저그전에 대한 자신감 최고조에 다다르지 않았을까 하는 생각이 드는데요. 어떠신가요?
저그전 일단 좀 여태 몇 주 동안 해왔던 경족전이라서 뭐 자신감은 있고요. 그리고 좀 이번 시즌 마음가짐이 좀 달라요. 그래서 좀 무조건 이기고 싶은 마음이 큽니다.
그 어느 때보다 많은 자신감과 또 욕심을 가지고 8강 경기를 준비하고 있는 장윤철 선수인데요. 이번 시즌 장윤철 선수의 저그전 기세가 좋다면 조일장 선수는 사실 ASL 내 저그 중에서 가장 많이 또 8강에 오른 선수예요. 뭐 초창기를 제외하고 시즌 4, 5, 11, 12까지 8강에 또 오르셨던 조일장 선수인데 그만큼 다전제에 있어서는 본인의 자신감 상당할 것으로 좀 생각이 되거든요. 본인의 다전제 강점이 어디에서 나온다고 좀 생각하시나요?
약간 그냥 뭘 할지 모르는 그냥 게임 좀 제 마음대로 하는 스타일이거든요. 그래가지고 좀 상대들이 예상을 좀 못하는 그런 플레이들이 아닐까 생각합니다.
상대가 연습을 통해서 어떤 준비를 해와도 그 허를 찌르는 조일장 선수의 다전제 판짜기 능력이 오늘도 발휘될지 굉장히 궁금해지는데요. 많은 분들이 기대하고 계신 두 선수의 8강 경기입니다. 두 선수는 어떤 세트가 좀 승부처가 될 걸로 예상을 하고 계시는지도 궁금해요. 장윤철 선수는 어떠세요?
그래도 모든 다전제가 1세트가 제일 중요하다고 봐요. 그래서 1세트 이기면은 좀 유리해질 것 같고 그렇습니다.
오디세이가 좀 승부처가 될 것 같다. 조일장 선수의 생각은 어떠신가요?
저도 1경기가 제일 중요할 것 같아요.
모든 걸 좀 초반에 쏟아붓기 위한 준비를 끝마친 두 선수인 것 같은데요. 끝으로 각오를 청해 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 각오가 남들을 장윤철 선수?
제가 떨어지면 프로토스가 없다고 들었어요.
맞습니다. 네.
제가 어떻게 해서든 올라가겠습니다.
마지막 생존 프로토스 장윤철 선수의 각오 들어봤고요. 조일장 선수도 한 말씀 해주시죠.
오늘 프로토스 없애겠습니다.
네, 불꽃 튀는 신경전과 각오를 보여준 두 선수 후회 없는 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
자, 마지막 4강 자리를 두고 경쟁을 펼칠 두 선수 장윤철 선수와 조일장 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 과연 어떤 선수가 마지막 4강 자리를 차지하게 될지 8강 네 번째 경기 지금부터 만나보시죠.
All right, guys, we're ready to get this going. We're going to start this out on the map Odyssey, then on to Allegro, Nemesis, Vermeer, and Neo Arkanoid if we end up going to a Game 5.
Yeah. I like this map set, Tastosis. Like herO picking the couple of more normal maps, and then the weirder maps being picked up by SnOw, finishing on the weirdest map of all. I'm really hoping that we end up going to 5 games here. But I do think that Odyssey and Nemesis are maps that could be very good for SnOw's style.
I agree. I think these maps are fairly straightforward. And, excuse me, as we've seen before, SnOw just very good at these timing attacks, basically able to shut down the Zerg. A lot of times with +2 armor, +1 attack coming in there. I think the early game is going to be critical here, though. You know, if you're going to be taking out a good Protoss and coming from herO's perspective, I think some of these games are going to be won early on and basically stopping the Protoss before they can really start.
Yeah, that's very, very likely. Whereas on the other end, I don't foresee SnOw necessarily getting any early victories or even really big advantages with things like Gateway Expand. He is not that type of player. He's not like a 2-gate player or anything like that.
Right.
So I think it's like he's looking to be at least even going into that mid-game.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have proxy gates. I don't. I mean, we might have a cannon rush if the opportunity presents itself, but I think especially herO is usually pretty good at just having an opening that doesn't really allow for any kind of like cannons wedged behind mineral patches or gas. So yeah, I think this has to be won in kind of a, as Artosis would say, with an honorable style here from the Protoss. Basically defending everything, scouting correctly, and attacking out here. But I got to say, herO, as a Protoss player, this guy scares me so much when I watch him play. I've always watched him going, man, how do you stop this stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, both these guys are basically the scariest thing a Terran player's ever seen in their life. So I know the feeling that you're talking about here. They're just, I mean, we're towards the end of the tournament. We have just the best players left over, and these are absolutely amongst them. I think you'd have to put both of them as like top two-ish of their race right now.
Oh, for sure. And so it's going to be a real hurdle here if SnOw can win in PvZ. I would say I think this might be his weaker matchup. I guess the statistics agree with that, although he's obviously a good player in it. And, of course, I'm just hoping that we get another Protoss to move on here to the round of 4, man.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Although, if it's just a couple TVZs, that might be the best timeline. But, look, taking a look at the record here from SnOw, that should be a little bit ignored. There was actually a stretch from way back when he was a pro gamer before StarCraft 2 came out until sometime in ASL, like season 5 or 6 or something, where he literally had never won a pro match against Zerg. So he started out with like the worst record ever, and he has gotten actually quite good at the matchup.
Yeah. I just want to get into this game. I'm so excited. Looking at this man, with herO, I imagine he's going to be oscillating between a bunch of different styles. I do feel like this guy is so good at layering his builds in a series as well, where you can get rushed in one game and then maybe defend a little bit too much as the Protoss in game 2, only to have then herO really dial it back into a very passive macro game. So it's going to be a pretty interesting series. Again, our weird maps are at the end, so I do feel like for the map order, this is probably the best ordering. The best layout of maps to have from his perspective as well.
Yeah. If the later it goes, maybe that's where SnOw can really pick up some speed with Nemesis and Arkanoid to finish it off. But this map, Odyssey, I could see this being pretty reasonable for SnOw. You have the double gas in your main, so you do have a period of extra gas income, and then you do have that kind of that base that could be a third base behind your main base. So there's definitely opportunities to get 3 gas or even 4 gas a lot quicker here than a lot of maps, which I think SnOw's going to like, and that's probably why he chose Odyssey as his first pick.
Yeah, having the double gas in the main, I think, benefits Protoss more than any other race, and in this matchup specifically. So, I mean, just, everything that Protoss needs to get in this matchup costs a lot of gas. It's why they can't do that much aggressive stuff right away. Everything that they're making needs to have specific upgrades to make them functional. Like Zealots with speed and attack and Psionic Storm and air weapons, a robo, all that. So, having a boost in gas is something that you can really, really take advantage of here.
Yeah, and I think if you're on 2 gas, if anything goes wrong with your High Templars, I've never seen Protoss really come back from that. So a little bit more forgiving on a map like this. But we are ready. Time to get Game 1, SnOw versus herO, best of 5.
All right, guys, we've got SnOw down here in the bottom left, and over on the opposite side of the map in the top right is herO. Before we get into this match, we just want to say to all of you who've been supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much. If you've been meaning to support us on Patreon and haven't done it already, just go to patreon.com/ASL English. We love you guys. We appreciate the support.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful picture of SnOw there. Almost looks like a photograph. Really nice.
I do like this meme of people drawing SnOw. He has a very... You could basically artistically make him with these very simple drawings.
Yeah.
It cracks me up.
Yeah, well, he's got such a long face. It's just...
Yeah.
He really does, too. It's kind of like when I draw you, Tastosis, I have, like, 3 circles. You're basically like a snowman inverted, with the biggest circle being your head.
I gotta say, man, I've been working on my head game, by the way, for when we're on camera briefly, as it seems like my head's been getting bigger and bigger. I think I fixed the camera angle and learned how to sit in the chair right. So I want you guys to know, I think as you watch the progression of this show, by the finals, my head game is going to be totally on point.
Well, don't worry, Tasteless. We've got your back. I actually had the editors Photoshop in a neck for you in our most recent thumbnail. So people are catching on
to the camera.
that it's Photoshopped, but it does. You almost look normal now.
Thank you. It's good to hear. So we've got Pool first coming down here, and this looks like it's going to be Nexus first, unless this is a very late Forge. Yeah, okay. Wait.
Oh, look at that placement. He does not want to be losing that, huh?
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I feel like we never really see this. There may be some new ideas. Now, granted, that Forge is not part of the wall. It will be safe if Hydras come up to attack it. But this just looks a little bit odd, right? Like the Forge was a little bit late.
Yeah, you never really see it like that. I'm digging it though, Tasis. Oh my God, how many times is he going to stall it? That's ridiculous. But I'm digging it because the amount of times I see like the Forge die when it's like halfway done an upgrade, dude, that costs Protoss minutes without upgrades. It's actually almost foolish. So I like that he has some sort of plan here where the Forge just is not going to die. Now, we'll have to see what he puts out in the front. I guess it's going to be a Cybernetics core and a Gateway, but like those are much more expendable than a Forge that's spinning.
Yeah, it's funny. We get so used to certain build orders and certain patterns in the game that I'm sure for a lot of people watching, this is like an idea that probably just didn't occur to a lot of Protoss players. Like, why don't you just keep it back and wall in a little bit later? If it's not like a maybe he actually also delays it a little bit, because if he sees it's like a speedling all-in, he wants to have that be part of the wall, where if it's not, it's like, well, you can get your wall set up later, right?
Could be.
And then the Cybernetics core is sort of a funny building in that you need to get it out quickly, but you don't need any upgrades out of it right away. You could need air weapons, but air weapons is not the most important upgrade unless like you're dealing with a Mutalisk all-in. And so it is a more forgivable building to lose at certain points of the game. Yeah,
and when you think about it, like you're never going to lose your Cybernetics core when you're getting air attack, because if they're attacking with Hydras, you're not getting air attack. You know?
Right, yeah.
Like that's something that you would cancel anyways, so who cares? Like it's whatever. But yeah, I like it so far from SnOw. herO just taking 3 bases very, very normally for him here. And
was the probe transfer late on that Nexus, by the way?
Is it? I don't know. You tell me,
he just sent workers there. Well, he's only sending, I think, 3 or 4 probes down there as well. Yeah, so now we just got to see what kind of tech SnOw's going to have here.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine it's just going to be like the Stargate into Citadel and all that, but we'll see. Like, I feel like he definitely has some sort of specific plan here, since this is his first map choice and we've already seen the interesting Forge placement. Like, that kind of points me towards thinking that he is going to have, a very upgrade-centric build. Like, maybe he's rushing to a certain timing. Like, he really wants to get that +1 armor out after attack as quickly as possible. Maybe he's going to go double Forge, and he's really planning on grinding herO down with that. But, I think we have to wait until after that Corsair's out to really understand what he's doing.
Well, yeah, I think it's certainly going to be, there's going to be a big emphasis on just having the right upgrades at the right time, I mean, and all the matchups at this point in time, if you kill an Evolution Chamber or a Forge or an Armory or an Engineering Bay, like, it hurts, man. Yeah, it really does. It does. Mess up the kind of positions you want to be in later on in the game. So he's getting that +1. Attack. Could be armor as well. We've seen some players, especially Rain, get armor first. And he's going to go ahead and play a very ordinary tech here. Stargates make it a Corsair, and now we have a Citadel coming here as well.
Everything's very, very normal at the moment. More hatcheries starting to go down here for herO, who does have his Spire coming up. That Corsair should be out here shortly to go ahead and check across the map as to what's going on. Feels like light Zealot production, huh? Like, he only has 2 Zealots still? Is that like, I feel like normally by now you'd have like 4.
Yeah, we saw, I think it was last season with the was it Rain? Or maybe it was 2 seasons ago. Sorry, I sometimes I get the seasons a little bit jumbled in my head. But some of this play where, like, it's less emphasis on even trying to do that much, and it's just making probes and getting all the upgrades into tech. I think you could have more Zealots at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, he's basically just coming here to scout, see what his opponent's doing. He's going to get back out. And he does have these Zealots on the map slowly coming across here. I think it's 4 total.
Okay. Yeah, well, at least 3 in that first group, maybe a 4th coming behind as well. And gets a kill there on that Overlord. Of course, Scourge popping out now, so looks like he should just barely get away. The 4 Zealots coming up now. And, you know, that can force a few more links, but I don't think he's going to commit to that attack.
Yeah, this Corsair is going to come back and get there just in time. Air weapons is now being upgraded here as he realizes there is going to be the potential for air play. Keep in mind, you know, when the Corsairs chase, or sorry, the Scourge chase the Corsairs back, it does create a little bit of ambiguity as far as what the Zerg is doing. Is he just going to go into ground play, or is he going to mass up a bunch of mutas?
Now, the Scourge waiting for a Corsair to pop out, and that's like such a good play, but one Scourge already hit a Corsair that was trying to bait the Scourge into them, into the cannons, so... where'd the Scourge go? Did he get one? I think he might have gotten one.
Oh, did he snipe one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else those Scourge would have died suddenly. It's not like he's just going to click them into a cannon. But, yeah, the Zealots going across the map now. They do have that speed upgrade. A few mutas coming across. Yeah, still only 3 Corsairs. So I think that the Scourge actually did their job and killed a Corsair there.
It's really important for the Protoss to not lose any Corsairs because they're all coming out of one building. So if you, like, drop 1 or 2, like, your overall count is just lower. And keep in mind that, like we mentioned earlier, it's so important to be getting as much gas as possible that having to make extra Corsairs so you have that right amount, it slows everything else down. Your Robo is going to be later, Dragoon Range is going to be later, all that.
You think it might be worthwhile for him to get a reasonably quick 3rd gas with this other geyser in his main? You know, one thing we should point out is that it's only got 1,000 gas in it, so it lasts for like 3 minutes and 20 seconds at full 8 you know, gas per trip. So it's like, it doesn't last very long, but that's a pretty big boost.
I mean, yeah, I agree. He doesn't seem to think he needs it just yet, but maybe he wants to kind of bank on having the extra gas later on when he gets into a part of the game where he's got his 3rd and 4th base up. He might be switching to Robotech, assuming we go into a really long game. Is he still making mutas, herO?
Not entirely sure. I think he might be.
I think he's going to Ogre Zerg Gamer.
Yeah, yeah. Also, by the way, +1
boy,
armor. +1 armor first for SnOw.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that before.
Now, again, it's going to come down to, you know, how many cannons are in the main. I only see 2. 2 is not enough. You need 3 or 4. And the Archon's role here is going to be extremely important here. He needs to catch the mutas or Scourge.
Oh, man, those Scourge actually having a bad time with all of the cannons and the Archon shooting at him. Oh, my God. SnOw absolutely disabling this Ogre Zerg Gamer build.
I mean, the Ogre has been defeated, Tastosis.
Oh, my God.
He's dropped his club. That was just masterful maneuvering. I mean, basically, it's keeping the Corsairs alive is key. And then, you know, using the cannons to basically eke out more damage. He did not lose. I think they lost any Corsairs there. I guess he drops 1 now. But this is tough. Sorry, what'd you say, Tastosis?
No, that was sloppy to see him. There's literally 2 Scourge sitting there. Yeah. He loses. The Archon's right behind. He still loses the Corsair, unfortunately. But yeah, that was like great defense from SnOw. He should be feeling pretty good. But the supply is getting pretty high here for herO. He is switching into that Hydralisk tech. And SnOw hasn't really hit his stride yet with his Gateway unit macro.
Okay, he's going to come out now. And this is... You know, you want to be careful with just the one Archon, too. You know, Archons beat Mutalisks, but if you have enough and you get the right shots off, you can pick it off. Like, I think he's going to go for it now. This is one of the harder things for Zerg to do in the game because the Mutas actually have just... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The Mutas have just a little bit more range than the Archon, but the Archon it's got a funny way that it moves. It kind of slides. You can make it slide a little bit when it attacks. So if you do it right, it'll kind of skate out and hit those units, and then I mean, he really beat him back here. So I got to say, I'm really liking this game. Keep in mind, though, and this didn't really occur to me until I just saw it happen here, but herO's 4th base is now being taken in that location that's pretty hard to push.
Yeah.
And a lot of games do come to, the Protoss trying to deny that 4th base and basically control it. If they can't stop that 4th base, then they just don't have... we have to go into a super late game here. And I think that SnOw is almost ready to push here. He should have +2 armor, +1 attack in a second.
Yeah, and, oh my god, yeah, he got +2 armor before +1 attack, Tasteless.
I think he has 2 forges, so I think that's going to be... The attack's coming in a second here.
It's interesting, though, to watch him really, really drive home that plus armor upgrade, because we haven't seen anyone actually approach it like this yet. Yeah, that forge is actually not spinning. He does have the +1 attack now, and I guess he's ready with those 1-2 upgrades, which are very common. But yeah, the ordering with the armor is really cool. Why do you think he's doing that?
I think it's just so important to have the armor so that your units, especially the Templars, don't die as easily, and everything's a little bit more tanky, so you can push through lurkers. And I guess you're able to at least get onto the map, right, with the armor, and then you don't need the attack until you're actually doing the push.
Yeah.
And SnOw's going to come in over here, and yeah, I mean, let's see what happens.
Well, that is a lot of mutas. They do run in for the snipes, and they will get 2 High Templars. 3 High Templars are taken out before all the mutas do evaporate. So those 11 hurt mutas for 3 High Templars. I don't think that SnOw can quite attack into these lurker positions yet. Right? Like, look, I don't know that he has enough Storm. Like, he has a lot of Dragoons, but shooting uphill into lurkers is really tough.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. He's going to need a lot of patience here. Dragoons, they don't fire that fast, so when they miss shots up a ramp, it's pretty brutal here. So this is kind of, I guess you could say, the climax of this game here is, can he actually crack this position open? I got to say, it looks pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm not really digging him trying this hard right now. You can see that he's going up and he's losing 4 or 5 units per lurker that he kills. Definitely not worth, especially the amount of Psy Storms he's spending. But herO's getting to do whatever he wants, man. He has Hive Tech up already. He has double Evolution Chamber. His army is getting really, really fearsome. You got to know that he's got Adrenal on the way and everything, too. So this is getting to be like a very big problem for SnOw.
He's going to try to mix it up here and push up. This is not a bad idea. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, basically, herO's just waiting to try to absorb this push. The Defiler Mound is coming along here. If Dark Swarm comes into play here, or Plague starts to come down, that's when it's going to be really tough here. We do have a shuttle. I think he's going to drop this 4th base up here. This is, the shuttle's a great thing to try to take advantage of. Oh my god, he takes that out, and now I think he's going to lose that 4th base. That's a huge moment here.
It really is, and I don't think he has drops or anything. Obviously, his mutas were already all sacrificed to get those High Templars, and now suddenly that back base is getting destroyed. I think the drones will just barely hold what's there, but like the Corsairs are killing off Overlords. He drops a Dark Templar in the main. It doesn't really do much there. Dude, a huge amount of damage dealt here to herO.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, we were talking so much about how this is going to come down to a push, but instead it came down to this little drop and sniping the Nidus network. And this is a lot of drones, man. And with the Archon here, he needs to get them out. Yeah, he's going to run them out, but this base is going to go down. More drops inbound here, and a very late 3rd base, by the way, for SnOw. SnOw really wanted to end the game with a push, but ultimately he's going to exhaust his resources if he does that.
Yeah, it seems like he did a good job killing that 1 base at least, and he hasn't lost too much of his army. Some High Templars have been picked off here and there. He's lost a fair amount of Zealots, but that's pretty normal. So it feels like he's done a good job retaining most of the core of his army. Now, it looks like he wants to push again. Not entirely sure how that's going to end up going for him up that hill once again.
Yeah, I mean, he can at least bait out... Oh, that Observer's going to get hit with the Storm. He can at least bait out a little bit of damage, but, this map looks pretty tough for the Protoss to push almost anywhere, to be honest, on the ground. It's got a lot of locations where it's kind of hard to overpower them. A lot of high ground areas. By the way, Zerg is going to switch his 4th into the bottom right, and this is another spot, kind of like these Fighting Spirit expansions, where, like, it's just very hard to to get much done if you attack into him.
You know, like you said, there's not like a lot of mobility around the map. There's like a lot of ramps. There's a lot of like small bridges and things like that. So it feels like the only good attack we've seen from SnOw was up to that wide high ground area, up like right above this area that we're looking at here, right? So I think that that's like pushing up this little tiny hill. He's tried it 2-3 times now, and it's just not working. Do you think he should just like focus on leaning on a different area of the map?
I don't know. I'm honestly trying to figure it out as I watch, right? Like, he's going to try to come up here, but I think that's a really bad idea. Right now, herO's been very fluid with moving his lurkers around, and it seems like SnOw's getting a little bit desperate. He is just going to send the Zealots in. Now, keep in mind, if he can get onto the high ground here, then he'll have that high ground advantage, and it'll be a real problem for the Zerg. But the Dark Swarms come down, and I don't think there's any Zealots that can hit that, so he's probably going to have to back up or Storm this or something.
Yeah, Storms plus Archons can do a little bit under Dark Storm, but Dragoons are absolutely worthless. Now the Crackling's coming up for a little bit of a flank. Now SnOw's not going to lose his army as long as he hits his Storms here, but the Cracklings are being so efficient. Really one of the scariest things to fight against is Protoss.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal, man. And that Dark Swarm saved herO's ass. That was so close here. Now, you can see the resources are exhausted at the natural. It's paramount that he gets his 4th base set up here. You really want to have always at least 2 bases mining with Protoss, or it gets a lot harder to kind of crank out units. It's a great flag over there, mostly on Archons. Like, it's not the greatest thing to get in the world, but... you know, he's continuing to push. It does seem like SnOw is starting to overpower him here, and I think he's got another drop. There's something, some red blip in the top right of the mini map. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I think it must.
Is that a DT? Oh, of course. Oh, okay. Sorry, Corsair scouting. So I think the game plan for now for SnOw is probably to just try to do control. I don't know if he wants to try to actually push in and end the game as much as just make sure that he doesn't lose any more bases and herO can't grow anymore. Yeah,
I mean, that does make sense, but I'm really afraid once Hive Tech is up, and look, herO's actually got more supply as well. Between Cracklings and Defilers, it feels like it's a whole different game, you know, Protoss versus Zerg. Before that, it's like, okay, can you deal with Mutas? Can you deal with Lurkers and Hydras? But at this point, like, the efficiency of Zerg gets to be absolutely massive, and you can see it's like 5 Cracklings. They're ready to kill everything here if you don't send your army down.
Yeah, we'll probably have to see Reaver Tech here. I mean, that's really one of the only ways that you can fight this. And it's not going to be easy. Lots of Templars. I think some of these should be turned into Archons. Okay, there we go. You know, you almost never want more than 4 or 5 Templars. It's not, you know, that useful, especially when you get into a game like this where there's not that many things to target as easily with Storm. You just want 1 or 2 good Storms to come out, and then you really want just Archons and Zealots and everything else kind of melting those Lings.
Well, I am excited to see if SnOw does end up going into Reavers. Obviously, he's the best Reaver player out there, but his economy is really low. He's having a hard time, but really the name of the game for him is going to be efficiency. Look at this, 168 supply against 111? I mean, in most stages of Protoss vs. Zerg, that is basically a loss for Protoss. Now, we are in like a slightly later part of the game where it's like a lot of very cost-efficient units for SnOw. So I feel like I have to give him some benefit of the doubt that maybe he has some shot to come back. I'm just not sure how.
Yeah, well, I mean, herO reclaiming this base is really the big story right now. Because you can basically try to storm drop and try to harass and stuff, but it's really got to come down to whether or not you can stop the Zerg from taking any more bases. And it seems almost like SnOw is debating breaking into this position again. A lot of Lings going to counterattack here. I don't know exactly what he's got to defend, but, you know, a certain number of Lings, especially with Dark Swarm, can just decimate a 3rd, 4th, or 5th base if you don't have Reavers there to defend it. And I have not seen a Reaver yet this game.
Lurkers along with that Dark Swarm is going to be even worse if he gets that up. Now, the DT comes up, does get 1 snipe, and an Overlord flies by, so it gets picked off. And it feels to me, Tastosis, like this is just about the end. All of these very valuable Archons and High Templars are getting picked off. It doesn't seem like there's much chance here left for our Protoss player.
I think you're right. Zerg at 150 supply to a measly 75 supply here for SnOw. Oh my god, and the Lurker drop there takes out the workers. This game should be over, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think that SnOw played kind of a cool game, and I think he played pretty well overall, but we honestly saw 4 to 5 attacks where he tried to go up that hill, and they just didn't work out. It feels like he was just banging his head into the wall over and over at that one location.
Yeah, I mean, SnOw set up the push, but he could not find opportunities anywhere. And there was one moment where it seemed like he was about to get onto the high ground, and then his Dragoons could fire shots down, kill off those 3 hatcheries, and cause a fracture in the position for herO, where he couldn't get movement between his second base and his fourth base. But the one Dark Swarm Cloud came down there, and that was basically the beginning of the end there for SnOw.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the final, like, really big hold. That was the one time he looked like he might break it, but it seems like herO just always was a half step ahead, always had just enough at all times to hold his attacks. So I don't know. I think that it feels to me like SnOw was a little bit headstrong here, because the only time he attacked elsewhere, he actually did a fantastic job. But, just kept going back into that one area.
I guess the truth is, and SnOw had this great moment where he dropped on that little island location. I think he needed to make sure that island was not reclaimed.
Yeah.
I think we would still be in this game, but once you see that 5th base coming down as well, that's a problem. It's tough because you could try to push in, and I think these lurkers killed like everything, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't think the probes got out. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a tough game, but like I said, as a Protoss player myself, herO really scares me, man. This guy is so good at the matchup. He did that turtle style. Let's see what he's going to do next after this short break, because we're going to go to game 2 with these 2 players.
프로토스 장윤철입니다. 캔딱인데요. 아, 이거 펴는 거예요? 두 칸이네요. 그래서 궁금하신 거는 이거 같은데, 조지명식 때 진짜 박상현 선수한테 화나셨나요? 솔직히 좀 화났어요. 왜냐면은 앞에서 한 얘기가 도발하면은 도발한 사람 뽑는다길래, 저는 이제 기조에 가고 싶어서 도발을 안 했거든요. 갑자기 절 뽑길래 뭐지? 이러면서 약간 좀 찐텐이 조금 나왔고요. 사실 가기 싫은 조였기 때문에 좀 찐텐이 나온 거고요. 리얼리티로 진짜로 화내고 그런 거 재밌어 하시더라고요. 만족합니다. 네. 화가 났네요. ASL 시즌 14 10맵 중 2가지를 말하세요. 너무 쉬운 거 아닌가요? 오디세이, 알카노이드. 초를 친다고 할 때 여기서 초가 의미하는 것은 초 아니에요? 초를 쳐가지고 뭐 불을 끈다. 배운 사람이기 때문에. 찬스. 맨 앞에 있는 거 보겠습니다. 오, 진짜 되게 높은데요? 13. 괜찮아요? 결혼 버프 존재하는 것 같나요? 이걸로 할게요. 일단 결혼하면은 뭔가 혼자 있을 때보다는 전체적으로 사람의 분위기가 좀 업되는 것 같아요. 그래서 게임할 때도 원래라면 졌을 때 진짜 지하 바닥으로 감정이 떨어져서 좌절한다거나 그런 게 있는데, 결혼하고 나서는 그 옆에서 막 위로도 많이 해주고 그러다 보니까 그런 일이 많이 없더라고요. 그래서 버프가 있는 것 같아요. 정신적으로 건강해져요. 오, 나왔네. 자만하지 않고 제자리에서 한 걸음 한 걸음씩 가겠습니다. 안녕하세요. 더블유저 조일장입니다. 3. 미션? 음악 3초 듣고 맞추기. ASL 시즌 14 선수 등장. 누구의 등장 음악인지 맞추면 2칸? 아, 이거 못 맞출 텐데, 이거? 잘 모르는데. 아, 이건 당연히 알죠. 아, 이거는 우리 형. 이재동 선수의, 이거 제목이 뭐였지? 가수는 클릭나스인데, without you인데? My life would suck without you. 맞죠? 4. 퀴즈 곱하기 성공 시 3칸 전진. 우리나라 최초의 한글 소설의 제목은?
우리나라 최초의 한글 소설은 도움입니다.
어?
정답입니다.
홍길동전이 맞는지 아닌지가 헷갈려요. 아, 맞아요? 역시. 아, 문제가 축구는 몇 명이 하는 게임일까요? 13명. 제가 또 축구를 좋아해가지고. 네. 6. 부처 메탈 조일장을 가장 화나게 한 순간은 오늘 팀자전. 김지성. 일단은 1경기는 사실 제가 좀 못했어요. 다음에는 내가 이렇게 실수하면 안 되겠구나. 그런데 2세트는 그냥 운으로 게임하더라고요, 얘가 게임을. 와, 나 진짜 그거 지고 좀 멘탈 나가가지고 지성이 아직 집에 안 갔는데 이따가 같이 밥 먹으면서 좀 상담 좀 해봐야 될 것 같아요. 1. 퀴즈. 작은 차이가 큰 변화를 유발하는 현상으로 작은 사건이 엄청난 결과로 이어진다는 의미를 가진 이것은 무엇일까요? 아, 너무 쉽다, 근데 문제들이. 나비 효과.
네.
3. 미션. 사자 게임 5번 성공하기가 뭐예요?
자신 있으세요?
저는 자신 있는 편이죠.
페이.
페이커? 페이? 페이? 그런 건 약합니다. 제가 안 하기 때문에. 3. 1, 2, 3. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨. 다시. 맛있는데요? 둘. Q&A. 4강 우승 후 결승을 간다면 세레모니 해주시나요? 제가 옛날부터 표현을 잘 못해요. 좋은 걸 표현을 잘 못하는데 오늘 이기니까 약간 기뻐서 저절로 미소가 나오더라고요. 오늘 아예 그냥 세레모니는 내 인생에 없다 이런 생각을 가지고 있었어가지고 근데 이제는 좀 바뀌어가지고 이런 생각이 있습니다. 4. 끝났다.
네.
제가 또 잘하는 선수 현재를 잡고 올라왔는데 이번에 연습을 하면서 경기도 좀 많이 올라와가지고 자신 있는 상태라서 윤철이 ASL에서 저한테 많이 떨어졌거든요. 이번에도 미안하다 윤철아. 다음 시즌에 보자.
Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to go into Game 2 between SnOw versus herO. And, that was rough watching SnOw try to push out, try to take a fight, and he never really could take that fight. But I do think we can chalk some of that up to the map. Games like that really help illuminate, certain matchups, who is really going to struggle to break into the other guy's position. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to Allegro for map 2, is that right?
Yeah, I believe it is Allegro next.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so
pretty standard map there, but I
think this map is more doable.
I heard that Tastosis have been complaining that it's really hard to beat Zerk here.
Really? Okay, well, let's see if it's going to be the case as we go into Game 2.
Yeah, because you can see it's herO's first pick as well, so that kind of backs that up. Because me personally, I like the map. I think it feels like really even and really cool in all the matchups, but we'll see if SnOw is able to actually battle back. Dude, if herO takes this one, though, that's 2-0 to start.
It's going to be brutal if that's what happens. We're ready to go into our game right now. Game 2, SnOw versus herO, continuing on. The winner going on to the round of 4 of the ASL.
So in the top left, we have SnOw. And in the bottom left, we have herO. Yeah, I guess it's from what I understand, the amount of pressure you can put on with Hydras on this map makes it really, really difficult. I could kind of see that, right? Like that third base, the mineral only, looks really difficult to take with all the different surface areas where Hydras can come in, and then like the 4th is like far enough away from that. How do you hold on to these areas against like Mass Hydra and then Lurker?
Yeah, more support here for SnOw, by the way, in the audience. And I really hope SnOw can take this just so we get some Protoss representation here.
Yeah.
In the round of 4. So this looks like it's going to be a gateway expand, since the probe is going to go back and mine a few more minerals. I think gateway expands fine on this map.
Yeah. I like gateway expand in general. Just anything that gives you more activity on the map seems like it's a good choice, you know?
Yeah. Big audience here today.
Very, very. It's quite in contrast to that TVT group.
Well, it seemed like as we went on in that group, there was people showing up.
Yeah, maybe.
TVT doesn't quite draw the crowds like the other matchups.
No.
Although, in truth, it does seem like any mirror matchup never gets quite as big of an audience, even in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Like, maybe if it was like the biggest 2 players from the race or something, that would make it different.
Whoa.
Is that a second
That's
gateway?
a second gate.
And it's hidden further back a little bit. That's funny because I literally said that I didn't expect anything like this out of SnOw because he's literally never shown us anything like this, ever.
Wow. And here's what's crazy, too. If the Zerg doesn't look carefully, it looks like it's just a gate expand. I mean, I guess you're going to know the moment that the third Zealot gets there that this is more than what you were expecting. But look at that. The placement is very interesting to me.
Well, I guess that's like his pylon that's down there. Yeah, he doesn't put it in the front, which, like, Mini would just do this right in your face. Like, yeah, that's 2 gateways. Be afraid. But with SnOw, it feels like he is trying to pull a fast one or something here. Now, one Zealot is going to walk around these Lings, but he does have to defend against the Lings themselves as well.
Yeah, okay, the Lings are coming up. And I mean, okay, he knows now what's happening. There's a Zealot down here, right? Just above where this probe was at?
Yeah, that's right. And it comes in now, and he actually turns around. So wait a minute, the Lings didn't see the second gate, right?
No, I think they did.
Oh, they did.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think he did see it. He's going to come in here and try to get one of these drones. herO needs to make sure not to lose any drones. It's one of the easiest ways to just die outright. And honestly, he's got some great control here. And so here he tries to go for the last drone. Does he get the hit?
Ooh.
He's not going to kill that one. Good control here by herO.
Doesn't look like it. Now, 2 more Zealots walking up this ramp right now. He pulls the Lings as far away as possible, gets that one final hit as well, and going after the drones once again. The second Zealot almost gets caught, but does run over with the first. Looks like he wants to go behind the mineral patches. And
yeah, I
of
like
course,
this quite a bit.
Yeah, that is always really, really annoying for Zerg. And now look at this. 2 more Zealots coming down. herO did not expect this build. I feel like if he was playing against Mini, this would not have caught him so off guard.
Oh, no, I know. I was in my head, I was just thinking, gosh, this looks like it's Mini playing here. It's funny to see the rise of 2-Gate coming back after this game's been out for over 2 decades, and this is one of the oldest ways to play. People are making it work. And by the way, that Sunken Colony can't reach those Zealots back there. So now there's Zealots wedged between both of the back mineral areas.
My God, that's so annoying, making a Sunken and then having it not even be useful against Zealots that are already in your base. Like, it protects the hatchery, but that's about it. Now, SnOw back at home continues to make Zealots, throws down his Nexus. This feels to me, Tastosis, like this was very successful by SnOw. Would you agree?
100%. I mean, this is ideal. And now he can use that wall in back at home to expand here, and you can see that this is just not a good trade for these Zerglings here.
Ooh. Dude, his micro back here
God.
really good as well. He is just killing as many Zerglings as he really can with these Zealots.
Yeah, he's getting so much value here. He's going to try to go for that last drone.
Oh, the one he clicked on is the one that I thought it was. That was hurt. That's so funny. I was like, oh, he got it, and then it lived. I'm like, wait, what?
So back at home, oh, nice snipe on the drone. Dude, this is painful. Look at how bad the Zerg's position is. When this Nexus gets up, if the Zerg can't win with an all-in, it's going to be a really difficult road to try to tech out of and grow out of.
How could he possibly win with like a Zergling all-in? You can see all of the Lings with those 2 Zealots, and like you're going to know when they leave the base and everything. I mean, if SnOw just gets like 2 cannons, he's invincible, right?
feels like it. Looks like we're going to have a tack up over into... oh, man, look at this. He's going to try to go for the drone here. It does get surrounded. But, I mean, there's just no workers here. Now, was he too greedy? You know, there's no cannons yet. You do want to have the cannons finish up here. And that basically cements your position as long as the Lynx can't get in. But I just feel like there's enough Zealots. He should be okay.
It really seems that way. He's getting the Stargate right now as well, and it is actually a layer here for herO, which I wasn't entirely sure if he's going to go layer or not. Do you think that he's going towards Muta, or does he want, like, lurkers or something? Like, what is the plan from such a bad position?
I mean, I guess the normal route would be to go for Muta. I 2-gate a lot in my own personal play, and I feel like, you know, Muta is what I deal with most of all. Lurkers would be surprising and can throw the Protoss off. But let's see, is this going to be a Spire? Yes, it is.
Okay, so 3-hatch Spire. He is taking a 3rd base as well over there with his 4th hatchery. SnOw's going to scout that very, very quickly. What I'm worried about right now for herO is, he's trying to recover his economy at the moment, but eventually SnOw's just going to walk out with all those Zealots.
Yeah. Here come the Zealots now. And this basically forces the Zerg to show their hand here. Now, at this point in time, by the way, it's interesting for me to watch this. It seems like herO just wants to go into development. He doesn't want to Muta all in or anything like that. He's got to be careful for a Link counterattack, but it looks like he's blocked that off as well.
These 7 Zealots are going to be a real pain in the butt to actually end up clearing out here. He has this single sunken. He's made a ton more Lings right now, but still maybe not enough to take out the amount of Zealots that are on the map. The Ling's kind of running back and forth. And do you like SnOw's retreat there?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah?
In my own experience of that moment of the game where I have to send my Zealots out, sometimes I'll overextend and lose them. But I think just creating that threat and then running back is a pretty good move.
Yeah,
and the Corsairs basically come in here and scouted. One of the things you're looking for in that moment is, like, what if he went for Hydras with speed? Well, then the Zealots would encounter them. You could use the Zealots to buy time and make cannons. But, this style that we're seeing from SnOw here, I mean, it's fun for me to cast this because this is basically what I've been running when I'm streaming my games. But, yeah, it's a very different way to approach the game. You really have to be kind of on top of the Zerg the whole time.
Are you looking in this position to just get, like, speed and +1 and go back with the Zealots, or are you going more towards the Dragoon High Templar style that we saw in the previous game?
You're always going to get the Zealots with the speed and get that tech out, and then later on you fill the rest of that in with Templars, and then lastly Dragoons. That's basically always the way Protoss does it. I mean, there are some weird cheese styles, and, like, you can do these weird Dragoon all-ins, but I mean, if you're playing a normal game, it's usually Corsairs and Zealots first, Templars next, and then Dragoons and the Robotech last.
Well, we'll see how quickly he gets into those other techs. A lot of Zealots are out. High Templar is going to be the next course of action. Locking that probe behind the mineral patch to group up his Corsairs nicely. Everything looking pretty good for SnOw, and you can see his flexibility between these two games. Just like, I would say, like, opposite strategies as far as Protoss goes, right? The last game, he focused on armor upgrades. He focused more heavily on quicker Dragoons and Storm and all that. This game, he did the 2-gate pressure into +1 attack and the speed. It's really cool to see. I think he's prepared well for this series, but is he going to be able to take this game home? Because I feel like if he doesn't win this, there's not going to be any chance.
It's going to be hard, I think, for if SnOw loses this to then come back with a 3-0 and win.
Yeah.
Okay, Corsairs are on the move now.
Zealot's checking that base, double sunken. He decides to turn around. Now, there are some Corsairs down here to counter the Mutas, but with the Scourge, it could be a little bit dangerous. Oh, the Scourge actually not doing that good of a job. The Corsair is going to push those Mutas back for now, saving his Zealots.
I mean, this is a lot of Scourge, a lot of Mutas. It's kind of funny to see herO bring this out. I thought when we didn't see the big Muta all-in earlier on, we wouldn't have it. But this is a very delayed Muta attack here. And, I mean, the Corsairs will have to flee. And you want to be careful in these moments, because if they can take the Corsairs out and get on top of your main, kill your Nexus and your production, you're dead.
That would be, like, the absolute quickest kill move, I guess, that you could really have. But it feels like SnOw has parried this like well enough. He's already up on 7 Corsairs. He's got an Archon in there as well. So out comes the next attack.
Okay, Muta armor is done, which is going to make these Mutas a lot more viable to actually fight the Corsairs. I think SnOw's doing a good job, you know, bluffing the attacks and then running back. But you got to be careful. Both sides have to be very careful with this. Like, this is a ridiculous amount of Scourge. He's going to try to just completely break the Protoss' neck here. But, I mean, this is so many Scourge. I don't know how much map there is for the Protoss to run. Oh, wow, and he's just going to go right into the main. Oh, my God. And he could catch the Corsairs as they're trying to come back and defend.
Dude, the truest Ogre Zerg gamer that we've ever seen here in herO.
Yes.
We talk about how good he is, and then he Ogre Zerg games it. The Scourge are actually kind of fanning around looking for the returning Corsairs.
This
man.
tactic, get ready!
Oh, no. Those Corsairs are going to be in serious trouble. He's losing a lot. And look at this, the Sunkens. It seems like they're doing a good enough job over here.
Yeah, well, he's lost control of the main. It's not a lot of Mutas, but, you know, the Corsairs can't get back home. This is insane.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He's just blocked him from getting access to that.
And herO blocked the attack from SnOw. SnOw was not able to break in with what he had. Dude, did herO just pull ahead?
Oh, yeah. Hugely ahead. Now he has gotten the Corsairs here, but you need to use the Archon to protect the Corsairs, and this is not the most comfortable Sim City, is it? It's kind of hard to get to where he needs to be.
It truly is not. Like, Archon has one lane he can get into each area in. So finally walks around everything. Oh, yeah, he does slip into there. Okay, a Storm goes down, but a great dodge there as well. The Scourge hit well enough, I think. Reduce that Corsair count quite a bit. And herO actually turns to fight.
My God.
Even more Scourge come up. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's killed every Corsair. And now the problem is that the Archon is going to have, especially with the way that this base is laid out, it's going to be very hard to actually engage with the Mutas. Great snipe on the Templar.
He's waiting for another Corsair to pop out of that Stargate as well, and gets 1 hit, 2 hits immediately. Ooh, good Archon shot, but back at home, herO has like enough Sunkens and more Mutas popping out. Dude, this game looked so promising for SnOw, but as these Zealots die and the Mutalisk count continues to grow, this doesn't feel like SnOw has much chance left.
Well, I mean, there's just so many drones mining here, and, you know, Protoss has, I guess, taken control of his main again, but, you know, can you imagine a game where a Protoss recovers from this? I mean, there's an insane amount of drones mining, by the way. This is not like the Zerg style where you have, you know, like a drone on each mineral patch. You know, he has the drone count at each place of like a Terran or a Protoss, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the engine to produce is huge. And again, the Mutas come in here and just pick off these probes. And, you know, again, the Corsair counts keep getting, it just gets pushed down to 0. The Protoss really can't do much with this at this point in time. I think we're going to see SnOw dry up. He's going to wither up and die here, Tastosis.
He's going to tap out pretty soon, I think. Like, he can't even really field another attack this game. He's losing all of his workers. And even if he somehow got a good enough army to counter these Mutas, herO, with that drone count you were talking about, can, at the snap of his fingers, switch into Mass Hydra.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. There's like no probes left. SnOw taps out. And herO, again, terrifying Zerg. By the way, fascinating to see that he is consistently going for the
Ogre Zerg Gamer.
Ogre Zerg Gamer. It is what it is, man.
For lack of a better term, Tasteless Ogre Zerg Gamer.
Yeah, just massing Scourge and Mutas and trying to crush the direct counter to Mutalisks, which is Corsairs with +1 attack. And you could see, especially with the timing of that one, from the Protoss' perspective, you think that moment of the game is long past. And so he like drones up, gets his powerful economy, and then just switches to air, and there was nothing SnOw could do. And again, beautiful moves with the Scourge blocking the Corsairs from coming back and saving the main as the Mutalisks destroyed all the cannons. And ultimately threw SnOw into a position he couldn't recover from.
It's unfortunate that SnOw couldn't get any damage with that counterattack at the same time. It could have turned into a little bit of a base trade scenario, but there was just enough defending at home for herO. So I think he played this game so well. Like, honestly, looking at his play right now, Tasteless, he looks to me to be the best player in ASL. Since we lost Light, like, this is ridiculous. SnOw had such a strong opener, and this is the type of move that I see herO do so often, where you'll, like, counter what he's doing, and then he counters that with tactics. Like, we've seen him do this against Terran as well, where, like, he's going mutas, and then they have Valkyries, and you're like, oh, you're dead now. And he does these same types of things, where it's just like, yeah, no, he's so in control of everything, you can't even get near him.
Yeah, he seemed to have a very good understanding of this from the Protoss' perspective. Also, you know, Protoss, they tend to feign a lot of aggression in this moment, so it seemed like herO just kept droning up. He got a very powerful position. Also, SnOw throwing his army away on the ground, you know, don't have a lot to work with if those died all the sunken colonies. Guys, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, the series continues on with Game 3 of SnOw versus herO.
I'm a go-getter, na 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 na. I'm a go-getter, na 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 na. I'm turning up the heat, no one else can do it better. Okay, Phoenix, let's go. Open your eyes, open your heart. 넘어가면 another rebel. 밤이 일어나지 don't finish full 타 두 배로 난 지치지 않아 무게 올려 보스팅의 맛으로 overdrive another rebel. 어제 쓰러져도 다시 높여내 시벨 칼로리 제로 뛰어 피곤한 날 리셋. 버핏 심장을 뛰게 해 이러니 bucket list. 날 다시 깨우는 마법같이 핫색 온몸에 그 강의 짜릿함이 핫색 Phoenix 마법같이 핫색 핫색 I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute. Some say the zero. 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설임 빼고 This is zero life. 없어도 되는 건 빼고 실성사이다 제로. 아침은 라떼, 헐릭 점심은 라떼, 헐릭 저녁은 라떼, 헐릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 헐릭 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 헐릭 상큼함 맥스 칼로리 X 맛있는 탐스 제로 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로 탐스 제로 같이 떠나볼래?
It's looking grim, guys. I think SnOw's going down. Hopefully not. We'll see. I guess before we go into Game 3, though, we wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ASL English. We do have a goal for this season. We hope we can make it before we wrap up the finals. But, guys, we love you. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys really are the heroes of ASL, keeping this tournament alive for that English-speaking scene. And it's a great season. Next season's going to be fantastic, no doubt about that. We already have 3 of our 4 seeds into the next season, and we're going to be deciding that 4th seed very shortly here. Will it be SnOw? Will it be herO? Like you mentioned, you know, it's looking like herO right now. Up 2-0 is a pretty strong spot to be in.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the break, but, like, it just doesn't feel like herO can lose in this matchup. Like, he's got such a good handle on it. It does seem like herO is very aware that the Protoss can't really commit with the Zealots. So, you know, when you see the Protoss come out and try to put this pressure on, the fact that the Zerg just keeps droning is very scary. You're trying to force out Lings. You're trying to generate the image of threats, but he just droned up and then did another huge Muta Scourge play and crushed through.
It was impressive. Great Scourge usage. He made way more Scourge than I would ever imagine someone would do. But you know what? It works out, and herO really does know what he's doing here.
It was like 2 or 3 control groups of Scourge.
Yeah. I think he had like 3 at the maximum. Like,
yeah, at some point in time,
at one point, I think he had like 3. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's pretty wild to watch him function here, and like the one thing I was mentioning to you on the break as well that I'm just so impressed with is how do these pro Zergs, after they put so much goes wrong for them in the early game, and they drone so magnificently. Like, they get such a solid economy going, and then suddenly they have like 5 hatches. I'm like, damn, I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, it's impressive. herO might take this ASL, man. He makes, you know what's crazy about it? He makes it look so easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, if SnOw, don't give up on SnOw yet. If he's going to get out of this, it's going to be a very different story because the maps start to really get wilder the further down we go. Nemesis is, it's a very different map. I do feel like there's some tricky stuff Zerg might try here. We'll get into that once this game starts up, and that's going to be right now. We're going to the game now, guys. Game 3, SnOw versus herO. Terrible outro by me. Let's hope the game is better than my outro. This audience.
So we have SnOw there in the bottom left, I believe it was. Yeah, in the bottom right we have herO, so they're sharing that 6 o'clock. But yeah, this map, you know, there's no bases out on the map, which makes it really, really interesting. It's like I look at this map and the little nerd inside me that just enjoys watching PvZ is like, please go Corsair Reaver. It would be so cool here, you know?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if that really is a thing people do as much anymore, though.
Well, it certainly is not, Tastosis, but maybe they should.
Maybe you gotta believe. You mean like with disruption weapon stuff and their...
Well, you know, just like opening with Reavers opposed to High Templar, just because when you look at like the layout, right, there's no bases to really push into with your army. Everything's on the sides of the map, so it just...
Yeah.
I like shuttles, right? Like, I think that's like a solid way to play a map like this. I say that as a Terran player, but like, yeah, you should fly, Tastosis, not walk.
It did seem like for a little while in ASL we had a lot of mid-game Reavers that were being used.
Yeah, we had some mixed in, didn't we?
Yeah, we did like charge lot with like Reaver shuttle and stuff like that. I feel like it was Bisu who was doing that a little bit. But it doesn't seem to be as popular. Now, one thing to keep in mind is these dividers between each of the bases. You know, I just wonder if Zerg can do something kind of tricky to get in there. I think that Zerg have more ways to exploit some of the features on this map than maybe Protoss does.
Okay.
But we'll see.
It is a pool first here from herO. See if he starts working on any like eggs or geysers or anything like that to alter the paths that you can utilize on the map. SnOw checking up that ramp, sees the Overlord coming, so he knows that herO is in that bottom right now.
Okay. Some Lings are being made now. This is the gateway expand, no double gate. Still can't believe we actually saw SnOw go for a double gate, by the way. That really says something about the way that the Protosses collectively are looking at the matchup, by the way.
What do you think it says about it, actually? That's an interesting thing you said.
Yeah, you know, when we came back to casting ASL, so there was like a dark period as far as you and me absorbing information in StarCraft 1, and that's when StarCraft 2 came out.
Yeah.
And, you know, we casted that straight for about 7 years without, you know, having any Brood War tournaments, and then, you know, AfreecaTV brought this league back, and really, there's been in StarCraft Remastered came out. There's been this big explosion in popularity of the game. But when we came back, we saw the gate expand, right? And that was like one of the hard parts for me trying to figure out how this strategy worked because it looked so weird. But it's been around for a while. And it seems like Zergs have gotten better and better at dealing with one gate. And, they kind of know if you're going to hide the Zealot. They know how to pressure you and punish you. And so it seems like Protosses are tinkering with two-gate play where you can be a little bit more forceful with the Zealots and try to find opportunities there.
Yeah, I see what you mean now that you kind of explain it out like that. I'm trying to think for other matchups that have something similar to this, but nothing is really coming to mind. But I guess, having both in your back pocket's powerful. Like, SnOw definitely had the advantage in the last game. Like, he ended up losing, but the opening was fantastic. And I think that, it being able to go between the two is going to add a lot of power to his play in future seasons.
Yeah, I totally agree. The Lings are going to come down, and they're not going to be able to get in the main. This is pretty proper defense here by SnOw. And it just seems to me like SnOw is here to try to at least open up with a pretty standard game. And it does seem like herO is basically down to play one. He's just getting 3 hatches. The layer's coming, so no Hydralisk bust or anything like that. And we did see that it was the Cybernetics core made, so he did rush into gas right now, knowing that there's really no pressure, no threats. And yeah, we're going to get a quick Corsair out.
There is a forge in the main base, right? I'm pretty sure I see one like below the Nexus.
It looks like, yeah, a building the size of a forge on the mini-map is there.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a second Cybernetics core, I would say.
Right.
So you should throw down some
Yeah,
cannons. I mean, there are a bunch of Lings in the natural of herO, so maybe he is planning on putting a little pressure on. That is a quick +1 as well. Is that meaning that he wants to move out for pressure a little bit more quickly, or is he just trying to get into, like, +2 more quickly?
It could be both, actually.
Okay.
I mean, both are ideas that are absolutely applicable.
So a little line of Lings there, just kind of waiting in the center of the map. Probe going through the center as well. I do like the changes to this map compared to Blockchain. It's like a little bit easier to move your workers around through the sides. And SnOw is doing a great job of like scouting everything out and trying to figure out what's going on. Of course, in the meantime, we have that Spire coming up. Is it going to be Ogre Zerg Gamer once again?
It would be a brutal way to end the series, right?
It would, yeah.
If it's just the the Protoss getting bombarded with Muta and Scourge, but there is something to it. For a while, I think Protosses were almost over-defending versus this, and I think that as this was on a bit of a downward trend, we didn't see this play that often. I think that maybe Protoss players are trying to cut corners a little bit, or try to just, get ready to counter the Hydra attack a bit too preemptively and not respecting the fact that Zerg can bring this out in a very delayed fashion. What's funny is a lot of times as Protoss, when mutas come, it's like a very specific moment early in the game where they try to come out, they'll try to kill your cannon or snipe the Corsair and control the game that way. And what's funny about this is that herO's not doing that at all. He's by design, it looks like a very normal game. That's huge, by the way, to lose the Corsair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's by design, kind of looks like it's going to be a very passive game, sort of like what we saw in, I guess in all games he went for the Muta play, but yeah, like all these other games we see where they get a bunch of lurkers and they turtle and they drag the game out. So he just comes in so late, and it really threw SnOw off balance there.
SnOw right now, I'm not super liking his position. There's this one point of entry that really exists right now, and it's got a pretty good SimCity with it. Also, I bet you it is going to be that slightly delayed mutas, especially after killing the first Corsair. It just makes it so much easier on herO, who already showed that even from behind he can make it work.
Okay, so he's going to try to force his way in here. Now, these are +1 attacks also. He didn't go for the armor upgrade, so these Lings are actually a bit weak. I feel like Zerg just has enough, barely, right? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad to kill off those Lings, for sure. I mean, you could definitely get some value with that. You could see he wants to try to pick off as many as he can. And it's going to be a very standard development, on SnOw's side of the map, basically. He's going to you know, throw down some gateways and just try to power up. I think one problem, you know, for the Protoss on this map against a Zerg that has expanded the way that herO has expanded is there's only one point that you can really attack with the Zealots, right?
Very much so. Like, we just saw him go towards those eggs kind of dividing out the third base, but some Hydras are standing behind, so it's like, oh god, are you actually going to try to break through here? But yeah, unless you kill those eggs, which takes a very long time, unless you have a unit like we see this DT here, it is that one point of entry, which makes these Zealot attacks, like, much, much weaker.
Yeah, no, let's see if this DT can get in here and kill some drones. I don't know why this hadn't occurred to me, but, like, of course, yeah, DTs murder eggs. If he could just get back there while generating the image of a threat here with these Zealots out in the front. And I don't see... Oh, no, there is an Overlord. It's at the bottom right. Okay.
Ooh.
That's so funny.
Overlord's speed is done as well, and he's actually bringing Hydras over with it also, so I think he just spotted it with those Scourge that were waiting there.
Yeah.
DT should get punished here.
You know, you can send Zealots through here now.
That's true. That's true.
You know, it's
I wonder if it's worth it for herO to run over and actually, like, close off some of the geysers.
I think he has to do that.
You think so? Just, like, cut down the amount of ways you can be attacked. Which one?
Oh,
the one inside here or the one just to his base?
Probably just to his base. I don't know. Maybe the one that's up there. Well, I think that moment's almost gone. He's going to have to try to get a block here with the Hydras over on the other side of the geysers now.
Make a lurker egg there. Just, it may pay it forward. More eggs
sure.
between the geysers. A lot of gates up here for SnOw. He is on those 8 gates now.
Yeah. And so, you know, we're going to see the Robo come down. He's going to have, you know, 4 or 5 Templars. Eventually, Dragoons with range, and it's going to be a push time. But, again, I mean, usually one of the things that Protoss players rely on is that they'll have the, you know, a couple locations they can attack into, right? And so they try to figure out where the weak spot is. They try to force the lurkers to have to reposition. And that's not a thing on this map. You know, there's basically one location you can try to push into.
And once those geysers are down, it's like literally the case, right? Like, you're going to have to actually use shuttles to get in there or something like that. Of course, no Corsair Reaver like I was hoping for, unfortunately, but we'll see if SnOw does end up going for shuttle play or maybe just going for a massive army and trying to break the front. It seems unlikely to work, though.
Yeah. This is, you know, this is going to be kind of your bread and butter PvZ here, with the exception of the fact that it's not going to be easy to do what the Protoss needs to do. The more I'm looking at this, it's hard to imagine winning with a push. Now, that being said, where does Zerg expand to next? I don't think there's an easy 4th base, right? So there's that. He does appear to be setting up for a drop, or maybe this is a fake drop. I actually can't tell.
Look at this. This is a nice little run and attack here. He does go up and starts hitting those Hydras. Wait a minute. Are there a bunch of units in those Overlords right now?
I can't actually tell. I didn't see them ever pick up.
Yeah.
But we're going to know in a second.
Oh
they are full Artosis.
Yeah, this could be a bit of a problem. That is a lot of Hydras coming out. A lot of probes starting to fall. Zealots running back. There is a big army here for SnOw to be able to block this. But the drop is doing damage.
Yeah, it's doing quite a bit of damage here. And he's going to go for the Nexus. This is huge, Artosis.
Oh, he is going to bring SnOw down to 1 mining base. Now, he sacrificed a lot of units there, but like, just looking at the supply straight up, he should have enough to hold. Because, again, there's only 1 point of entry.
Yeah, good catch with the Corsairs to get the Overlords here. But honestly, losing the Nexus, it's so bad. I mean, this is really the moment the Protoss is supposed to be finding their opportunities, right? All the hard work they put in to get all the tech and stuff is done, but you can't produce out of 8 gateways very easily if you only have 1 mining Nexus. And he has not started a new Nexus, Artosis.
No new Nexus. I think he's just going to try to go for a counterattack. You know, he killed a lot of Hydras with that drop, so maybe he feels like this is an opportunity. There are a lot of Dragoons. He has a good amount of Psy Storm in here. So this might be his best chance. Now, a huge flank coming in here from herO. Some good storms on either side. But does SnOw have enough?
I don't know that he does. We're going to have to have some more Zealots get made here. It does seem like SnOw won the first fight. And he's actually almost supply blocked herO here. And when the reinforcements come, this is really going to be the moment of truth. Is Kenny actually push in here, kill the natural, and then kill the main?
The Zealots come up and will do a ton of tanking as well as damage. Some Psy Storms being used as well. The Dragoons running up this ramp towards that natural base once again. The flanking Hydras having to be pulled back. It is a big, scary army, but it feels like with this SimCity, like standing in the back, the Zealots are just not going to count for that much. He might have to take it slow.
Well, I think he doesn't have the time to take it slow here. Nice storm on those Hydras there. Can we possibly get one more? Again, there's just one sunken colony here. But again, a very well-positioned herO here. Comes in, looks like he's going to try to snipe down, or at least hit from two different sides here. And so far, so good. And again, no Nexus is being made, so effectively, Protoss is all in right now. And it looks like herO's going to hold it. herO should be going on, I think, to the round of 4.
It certainly does look that way. The Hydras are overwhelming now. SnOw should be tapping out any second. Nothing left over him, and he knows it. GG. And that was a very one-sided match. More one-sided than I thought it would be, but herO showing that level that we've been talking so much about. Tastosis, I'm calling it right now. I think he's the favorite of the tournament. Like, with Lycon, I don't know who can actually take this guy out in a best-of-5 or best-of-7.
It's a very interesting Final Four that we've got.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, man, herO absolutely deserved to move on. It's rough as a Protoss player seeing SnOw go down like that, but, you know, SnOw came in here with some new ideas. He tried to address the matchup, certainly in Game 2, in a very novel way, but you know, herO just seems to know how to bob and weave, and he knows what the Protoss needs to do to win, and is always ready to just circumvent that.
Amazingly played, really well planned out, I think, on both sides, but SnOw just not strong enough here against herO. I think that was a tough match for him. If you put him against some of the other guys in this round, I could have seen him taking it, but herO is just too incredibly strong. And yeah, like, well, I guess we'll take a look at this drop real quick. I liked the Zealot attack that he did over on the side, but the drop seemed to be a little bit too strong.
It also seems like his units were crashing into each other. Like, he had stuff he wanted to send back, and
you know,
probably worth it to kill those eggs, you know.
I think the rallying out units blocked his army that was trying to come back to clear this.
I think that's literally what happened. Yeah, there's just some weird moment where you see Dragoons running behind the natural and stuff. And, you know, really smart player from herO. He gets the damage in there. He killed off a decent amount of probes. It's actually 29 probes right now. But getting the Nexus is, in my opinion, fatal damage here.
You can't go down to one base. When your opponent is on like 3 base, if you ever drop to 1, like every matchup, that's death.
It is very insightful to see that SnOw thinks that you should just all in from there and not like remake the Nexus and try to play it out. But I don't know why Zergs don't do that more
ASL
often,
시즌 14
honestly.
8강 마지막 경기에 함께 하셨습니다. 마지막 4강 진출자가 탄생했습니다. 프로토스에게 또 한 번의 악몽을 선사한 저그 조일장 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
3대 0의 완벽한 플레이를 보여준 조일장 선수입니다. 시즌 12에 이어서 5번째 8강, 4강 진출에 성공하셨는데요. 먼저 소감을 좀 들어볼까요?
솔직히 쉽지 않을 거라고 생각했는데 생각보다 쉽게 이겨가지고 기분이 좋네요. 네.
오늘 조일장 선수의 플레이를 보면 장윤철 선수가 어떻게 플레이를 할지, 프로토스가 어떤 걸 하면 싫어할지를 좀 완벽하게 파악하고 있는 듯한 모습이었는데요. 그렇지만 모든 움직임들이 굉장히 물 흐르듯 자연스러워 보였습니다. 연습 과정이 어땠는지도 좀 궁금해요.
일단은 어제 그냥 하루 종일 했고 이제 새벽 6시에 하다가 이제 손이 안 움직이더라고요. 아, 이제는 그만해야겠다 싶어가지고 연습량을 최대한 늘리고 좀 감각 유지를 최대한 끌어올리려고 해가지고 네, 그게 주요했던 것 같아요.
이 첫 번째 세트와 세 번째 세트는 물론 장윤철 선수의 견제를 완벽하게 틀어막는 조일장 선수의 모습도 있었지만 이 두 번째 세트 같은 경우에는 사실 장윤철 선수가 초반 질럿 견제가 굉장히 매서웠거든요. 이 당시에 어떻게 이 좀 불리한 상황을 파괴할까 궁금했었는데 제공권으로 좀 파괴를 하시더라고요. 스커지로 이 다수의 커세어들을 좀 몰아내면서 뮤탈로 흔드는 듯한 판단이 있었거든요. 당시의 판단은 어떻게 하셨나요?
일단은 질럿이 너무 많더라고요. 이거 저글링이나 히드라로 하면은 절대 못 이길 것 같아가지고 그냥 좀 가스도 빨리 캐면서 뮤탈 스컬지에 좀 힘을 많이 줘가지고 그래가지고 스컬지 발로 좀 커세어 몰아내가지고 약간 그렇게 생각했던 게 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
경기 전에 조일장 선수가 자신 있어 하던 프로토스 선수들은 내가 뭘 할지 아마 모를 거다라는 그 말을 그대로 경기에서 또 보여주셨습니다. 조일장 선수는 다시 한번 4강에 또 진출하면서 좋은 모습을 보여주고 계시는데요. 4강 상대가 유영진 선수입니다. 유영진 선수 입장에서는 아마 장윤철 선수보다 조일장 선수를 원했을 거다라고 많은 분들이 생각하고 계시는데요. 이 부분에 대해서 좀 뭔가 보여줘야겠다라는 생각 안 드시나요?
일단은 보여줘야겠다고 생각이 많이 들고, 제가 좀 토스들을 떨구고 올라왔는데 또 테란한테 지면은 토스 팬분들이 좀 많이 싫어하실 것 같아가지고 이번에는 조금 더 잘 준비해가지고 꼭 이기도록 하겠습니다.
시즌 11 때였죠. 유영진 선수에게 패배했던 기억이 아마 남아 계실 것 같은데요. 이번에는 좀 다른 테란전 어떻게 준비하실 건가요?
일단은 저번에는 뭔가 제 수들이 너무 많이 읽혔던 것 같아가지고 이번에는 조금, 제가 원래 토스전에서도 좀 변칙적으로 많이 하는데 테란전에서도 좀 그렇게 해야 될 것 같아요. 너무 뻔한 수대로 하면은 솔직히 영진이가 잘해가지고 이기기 힘들다고 생각해서 잘 준비해야 될 것 같아요.
또 한 번 시드를 획득하면서 다음 시즌 더 많은 팬들의 기대감을 불러일으키고 있는 조일장 선수입니다. 현장에 계신 많은 팬 여러분들 그리고 함께 연습 도와준 동료분들에게도 감사의 인사 전해주시죠.
일단 이번에 좀 진짜 연습을 잘 도와줬어요. 좀 자기 연습처럼 도와준 우리 현재랑 덕이, 그리고 수철이 고맙고, 또 태경이 형이 어제 연락이 먼저 오더라고요. 연습 도와준다고.
네.
그래가지고 그것도 정말 많이 도움돼가지고 태경도 너무 고맙고, 일단은 우리 또 응원 와준 우리 철화대 학생들, 또 멀리서 응원하고 있을 우리 족장님과 이제 기타 많은 학생들 너무 고맙고, 이번 시즌 철화대가 4강에 2명 갔는데 일단은 결승에서 만나는 걸 목표로 열심히 한번 해보겠습니다. 그리고 또 이렇게 직관 많이 와주셨는데 좋은 모습 보여드린 것 같아서 너무 기쁘고, 항상 응원해주셔서 우리 팬분들 너무 감사하다고 전하고 싶어요.
네, 다시 한번 조일장 선수 4강 진출 축하드리고요. 인터뷰 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 이번 시즌 마지막 4강 진출자 조일장 선수와 함께했습니다.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps that up. Total domination, man. A 3-0. We did not get to see those games on Vermeer or Neo Arkanoid, but my big takeaway is I think herO may be the best player in the tournament right now.
It really does look that way. And look at this round of 4. It's 2 of the 4 Zergs that we're always talking about. You know, Soma, Queen, herO, Sulky is like those 4 Zergs that are unreal, and 2 of them are in the top 4. That is very scary indeed. And then, of course, we have Light's 2 sidekicks in Royal and Rush, who even was able to take out Light in this tournament. So this is 2 of the 4 best Zergs and 2 of the 3 best Terrans. That's a pretty sick round of 4.
It's a really exciting round of 4. It's not the one I think everybody was expecting, but look, man, we're going to have 2 great Terran vs. Zergs coming up here for the final 4. Any of these you're more excited about, Tastosis?
herO Rush, honestly. The thing is, Royal is going to prep some crazy stuff. Like, we saw him. He's actually the one that hurt herO, like knocked herO into the loser match in the group round because he had those insane cheeses, remember? So he's he's doing ultra prep in this tournament and bringing crazy things. So that, I mean, that'll be an interesting match in that way. But Rush is more of a power guy in TVZ. He's got great mechanics. And I want to see that go head-to-head against herO's unbelievable tactics. Because I think that's going to be, I think that's going to be a slugfest, really.
I agree, man. It's hard to call for who's going to take this. I don't think there's a clear favorite on either side here, but we're either going to have a mirror matchup finals or a TVZ finals. I'll welcome either of those.
I tell you, I think it might end up being Royal versus herO. Like, I could see Royal outsmarting Sulky a little bit. Like, I think he can get into Sulky's head and have the right builds enough times. And I think that would be a pretty phenomenal final because Royal's Terran vs. Zerg win rate just continues to go up.
Yeah. Again, a very different Final 4 here. We're going to be coming back very soon, guys, with Royal versus Sulky. We're going to get that recorded right away. You can already see the map lineup here, so there's going to be a lot of time for these guys to put the prep in and try to get ready. And I think it's going to be an exciting series. Best of 7, best of 5, no more. Now we're on to best of 7.
Yeah, look at the first two maps. Neo Arkanoid and Nemesis are two strangest maps to open on. Dude, I don't know what that's going to look like because those two maps are very heavily prepped for this matchup. It's very much about, do you have a strategy that kind of outsmarted what your opponent was trying to do? I feel like anything can happen in those first two maps between these two, and it won't actually dictate the series, I think, either.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're going to get that as the first map, and then we can go into what would probably be more an ordinary Terran versus Zerg here. Again, I think Sulky could be a real threat here. You know, when he's playing well, it seems like nobody can touch him. But after these games that I saw here today, herO, he just knows how to sidestep all the problems that the other player's trying to create. He doesn't even really engage with it.
It's a good way to describe him. He's like too smart to make anything hard on himself. He just He's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm behind. Okay, well, I'll drone heavily and then Ogre Zerg gamer you. How is he going to make that type of thing happen in Zerg versus Terran versus Rush though, right? Because Terran is like extremely linear half the time in the matchup, where it's like, okay, every T is crossed, every I is dotted. And so sometimes I feel like for Zerg, it's a little bit hard to just do something that just gets you ahead. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's not like
absolutely.
Sometimes like in a PvT, you can take some sort of absurd risk and be like, yeah, I made my third Nexus at 5 minutes, and you did an armory build, so I'm ahead. That type of thing doesn't exist as much in Zerg versus Terran.
Right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry it was not a longer series, but herO definitely someone to watch for and possibly be going to the ASL finals. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We will get the round of 4 matches recorded right away and put out on YouTube. Until then, see you next time.
Be your